morning, everyone. I am Regeline Balbosa. We are the second presenter and we will discuss the result of our survey about the A safety rules in school. In our survey, we interviewed one ICT manager, one student, and one teacher to answer these four questions. Number one, do you have an ICT facility in the school? What composes this facility? Number two, who are allowed to use the facility? Question number three, what are policy, guidelines, and rules in the use of the facility? And lastly, what are A safety rules that need to be followed by any user? Before we start, the one who will present us the answer of the ICT manager is Mr. Jericho Galareta, to be followed by Ms. Mafayet Razona, who will present the answer of the student. The next is yours truly to present the answer of the teacher, followed by Mr. Lester Jade Hermoso, who will be discussing the differences among the answers of the three respondents, and then Ms. Joyce Quijano for the similarities. May I call Mr. Jericho to share to us the result of our findings about the answer of the ICT manager.
Thank you so much, Ms. Regeline Balbosa. In our first respondent, we interview first the ICT manager, and we are so grateful that we find ways to interview one of the ICT manager in Kalasungay. He is Sir Joven Duway. We asked him 4 questions regarding for e-safety rules in school. So for the question number 1, do you have any facility in school? What composes this facility? His answer, yes, the facility composes of 50 tablets, 3 desktop, 1 laptop, 55 inches TV, and document camera. For question number 2, who are allowed to use the facility? His answer, everybody who is part of the school is allowed. For the question number 3, what are policy guidelines and rules in the use of facility? His answer, for the basic guidelines, first, you are not allowed to bring foods inside the ICT classroom. Second, they need to handle the devices carefully. Third, ask permissions if we're going to use the ICT room. And for the last, in a pandemic, they were going to wash their hand first before entering the ICT room, and if they're going to use the devices. For the last question, what are the e-safety rules that need to be followed by any users? His answer, first is to follow digital citizenship rule. Second, to preserve your password. Do not share your password or any kind of personal information.
As we look for one student, we found Mr. Rowie Balotic, a student of Bukidnon State College and an ICT student in San Vicente National High School. So we asked him the 4 questions, and here is his answer. So in question number 1, do you have an ICT facility in the school? What composes this facility? His answer, yes, we have an ICT facility in our school. And second question, who are allowed to use the facility? His answer, every student in our school is allowed to enter the ComLab. In third question, what are policy guidelines and rules in the use of the facility? His answer, the number 1 rule is that no snacks allowed in computer laboratory. Most of all, don't bring water inside. Also clean your trash inside the room. In last question, what are the e-safety rules that need to be followed by any user? His answer, use safe browsing to avoid viruses on our computers, and use strong passwords so that no one can enter your computer or account or user account.
In our third respondent, she is a teacher at Kilabong Elementary School. Her name is Teacher Salvia T. Campugan, and this is what she answers to the following questions. Number 1, do you have an ICT facility in the school? What composes this facility? Her answer, yes, we have an ICT facility in our school, which composes of television, computers, and overhead projectors. Question number 2, who are allowed to use the facility? Her answer, teachers, principal, and students. Number 3, what are policy, guidelines, and rules in the use of the facility? Her answer, some of the policy, guidelines, and rules in the use of the facility are energy conservation guidelines, meaning you have to turn off any ICT facility when not in use, return in the right place of any facility that you have borrowed, handle with care, and take responsibility for any of the facilities. For the last question, what are the safety rules that need be followed by any user. Her answer: protect your personal information with strong passwords. Keep personal information private. Make sure your devices are secure. Pay attention to software updates and back up your personal data.
And similarities of their answers. Differences: energy conservation guidelines. Clean the trash inside the room. Wash hand first before entering the ICT room. Pay attention to software updates. Back up your personal data. Use safe browsing to avoid viruses in the computer. To follow digital citizenship rules.
Similarities in their answers. Yes, they have their own ICT facility in school. It composes television, computer, and desktops. Everybody is allowed to use the facility, like teachers, principals, and students. Handle the devices with care to avoid any damages in the technology. No food and water inside the laboratory. Preserve, protect, and build a strong password to provide a line of defense against unauthorized access to your computer and personal information.
So for the proof of documentation, we honestly interviewed one ICT manager, one student, and one teacher regarding for e-safety rules in school. So we have an evidence, and while they answering the question, we take a pictures as well as all of our group mates will be there during the interview and all of us participated.
In summary, based on our findings about the result of our survey on the three respondents about the A safety rules in schools, we discovered that every school has similarities and differences when it comes to using the technologies. We all know that technology has made us become practical people, but we should always remember that the guidelines and rules in technologies are important for us to protect our personal information. That would be all. Thank you.